I was folding laundry when my phone started buzzing. Not the occasional ping of a text message, but a relentless vibration that made the device dance across my kitchen counter. 12 missed calls, 23 text messages, all in the span of 10 minutes. My daughter Emma's name flashed across the screen. My hands were still gripping a warm towel when I answered, but the voice that came through wasn't hers. It was my younger daughter, Sophie, and she was crying so hard I could barely understand her words. "Mom, it's everywhere. The video is everywhere." I didn't know what video she meant. I didn't know that in the previous hour, while I'd been doing something as mundane as laundry, my entire family's life had been uploaded to the internet. I didn't know that millions of people were watching my daughter being beaten by the man she'd married 3 years ago in a ceremony where I'd cried tears of joy. I didn't know that my son-in-law, Marcus, had filmed himself doing it. The first time I saw the footage, I was standing in my kitchen. Sophie had sent me the link with a message that simply said, "I'm so sorry you have to see this." My finger hovered over the play button. Some part of me already knew that pressing it would divide my life into a before and after. I pressed it anyway. The video was 2 minutes and 43 seconds long. It felt like hours. It started with Emma's face, already tear-streaked, already afraid. The camera was clearly propped up on something. Later, I'd learn it was their bedroom dresser, the one I'd helped them pick out at a furniture store in Portland. Marcus's voice came first, calm and cold. "Tell them what you did, Emma. Tell everyone what a lying bitch you are." What followed was violence I couldn't have imagined. Not because I didn't know domestic violence existed. I'd volunteered at women's shelters. I'd read the statistics. I'd seen the bruises Emma had tried to hide under makeup during Christmas dinner. But seeing your own child's face being struck, hearing her scream for mercy from someone who promised to love her, watching her curl into a defensive ball on the floor while he kicked her ribs, nothing prepares you for that. The worst part wasn't just the beating. It was his narration throughout it. He was calm, almost conversational, explaining to his future audience that she'd disrespected him by texting a male coworker about a work project. He paused between blows to make sure the camera angle was right. He zoomed in on her face at one point, making sure viewers could see her split lip, her swelling eye. He'd filmed it as evidence, as justification, as a warning to her about what happened when she stepped out of line. But something had gone wrong with his plan. Instead of sending it just to Emma as a threat to keep her silent, he'd accidentally uploaded it to his public social media account. Within minutes, it had been shared thousands of times. Within an hour, it was on every major news platform. By the time I watched it for the first time, #Justice for Emma was trending nationally. The man who'd filmed himself committing a crime had given the world all the evidence they needed to destroy him. My phone rang again. This time it was a detective from the county sheriff's office. They'd already seen the video. They were already looking for him. Emma was already in protective custody at an undisclosed hospital, being treated for 2 broken ribs, a concussion, and various contusions. They needed me to come identify her belongings and provide her medical history. The detective's voice was kind but clinical. She'd clearly done this before. She explained that the video had made their job significantly easier. They had a warrant out for Marcus's arrest for aggravated assault, and the district attorney was considering additional charges. The footage was unambiguous. He documented his own crime in high definition.
I asked her, why would he film it? There was a long pause. "Control," she finally said. He wanted her to know he had permanent evidence of her failure as a wife. Men like this, they want their victims to live in constant fear. He probably planned to threaten her with it forever. Instead, he posted it by mistake while he was drunk or high. He destroyed himself. The next 72 hours were a blur of hospital visits, police statements, and an overwhelming wave of public attention. Our family, intensely private people who'd never asked for any spotlight, suddenly found ourselves at the center of a national conversation about domestic violence. Journalists camped outside my house. Emma's face was on every news channel. Strangers started GoFundMe pages for her medical bills and security expenses. Advocacy groups asked her to become a spokesperson. The video had been viewed over 50 million times. And Marcus, he disappeared for almost 2 days before police found him hiding at his brother's house 2 states away. His arrest was televised. His mugshot went viral. His employer released a statement terminating him immediately. His mother appeared on a morning show, crying, insisting her son wasn't a monster and that Emma must have provoked him somehow. I watched that interview with Emma in her hospital bed, her hand gripping mine so hard my fingers went numb. When his mother suggested Emma shared blame for what happened to her, I felt my daughter's entire body go rigid with rage. "She doesn't know," Emma whispered. "She doesn't know that this wasn't the first time, it's just the first time there was proof." That's when I learned the full truth. The beating caught on camera wasn't an isolated incident, it was the culmination of 3 years of escalating abuse. Marcus had been careful before strategic. He hit her where clothing would cover the bruises. He controlled her phone, her finances, her friendships. He'd isolated her systematically from everyone who loved her. She'd tried to leave once before, 6 months earlier. He'd found her at her sister's apartment and threatened to kill Sophie if Emma didn't come home. So she did. She came home to protect us. The video that humiliated her, that exposed her trauma to millions of strangers, had also saved her life. Because this time when she wanted to leave, she couldn't go back. The whole world was watching. Marcus couldn't manipulate or threaten his way out of accountability anymore. Today, 8 months after that video surfaced, Marcus is awaiting trial. Emma is living in a new city under a protective order, rebuilding a life she thought she'd lost. She's in therapy. She's cautiously reconnecting with old friends. She's testifying before legislators about domestic violence reform. And that video, the one that exposed our family's darkest moment to millions of strangers, sits as evidence in a prosecutor's file, a digital record of one man's violence and one woman's survival. Sometimes Emma still asks me, "Do you wish it had never gone public, that all those people hadn't seen me like that?" I hold her hand and tell her the truth. I wish he'd never hurt you, but I'm grateful the world saw who he really is, because now you're free.